Hi everybody, it's Azariel here. Thanks for tuning into our channel today, and we are doing another Q&A. Today's Q&A came in from Adam, and his question is, how do you begin working with the Goetia? Now, I'm assuming by this question that you mean to work with the 72 spirits of the Lesser Key of Solomon, which is commonly known as the Goetia or the Lemegeton. There are actually many other goetic spirits. If we look at the etymology of the word, goetia actually goes back all the way to Greece and means sorcery, and a goes is a sorcerer or sorceress or sorcerix. So with that, really the old sorcery from Greece would be where I would recommend that you start. But if you're talking about just working with the spirits from the Lesser Key, I can strongly recommend that you read the Encyclopedia Goetica by Jake Stratton Kent. He is one of the world's foremost Goes, and he is looking at it from a different perspective than the ancient Christian grimoires are. So that's a good way to start. Of course, you should also learn the historical grimoires and work with them. So the Lesser Key of Solomon, the Greater Key of Solomon, the Sworn Grimoire of Pope Honorius is a good one. The Grimoirum Verum, also known as the True Grimoire, and the Red Dragon or Grand Grimoire would be the ones that I would recommend that you start with. Now, keep in mind that these were written in times where witches were very much still persecuted, and so they are written from a Christian perspective. So you kind of need to be able to wade through the mud there if you are wanting to work with these from more of a witchcraft perspective. Now, that being said, because I am a witch, I do work with them very differently than in the old grimoires. So the one book on witchcraft that I would recommend for beginning is the Mastering Witchcraft by Paul Hewson. That's a great one to get you going. If you want to learn to be able to see, hear, and speak to the spirits, I can wholeheartedly recommend Psychic Witch by Matt Oren. That will help develop all of your clairs so that you can communicate with the spirits much, much, much easier. And then, of course, if you're looking for a more traditional demonolatry approach, I would recommend that you read the Complete Book of Demonolatry by Stephanie Connolly and her other book, Daemonolatry Magic. Both of those are a great intro to working with the daemons. And the other thing that I often get is, why do you work with demons? Aren't they evil? No. I mean, all spirits have the capacity to do evil. I mean, if you look in the Bible, anytime that God needed a killing done, he sent an angel to do it. He killed every one of the firstborn in Egypt using angels. So those are some pretty scary, spiteful, smiting spirits, in my opinion, and yet many people work with them and think that they have only a good side. In my experience with working with the spirits of the underworld, if we look at this from a more ancient perspective, you'd have the upper world, the middle world, and the lower world, and these are just spirits of the lower world, and in my experience, they have been really good to work with. I mean, heck, we grew our North Witch business with working with the 72 spirits of the Lesser Key and working with other underworld and chthonic deities and spirits and land spirits and everything else. So there is a lot of good there. You need to think of it from terms of the Christians really adopted what they could from all of the religions as they conquered the world, and then they took anything that was left over, the ancient gods, and they demonized them. They turned them into demons. We know this now that more and more history is being found and written about and brought to the forefront. For example, the demon Astaroth, one of the higher ups in the Grand Grimoire, is known as Astarte in the ancient times. There's ties to Inanna. There's a whole bunch of stuff for a lot of these spirits that can be traced back to Sumer and Canaan and all of these older cultures, Babylon, and things like that. So I look at them as old forgotten deities. Daemon in Greek is a spirit that teaches, a spirit that inspires, a spirit that bestows knowledge. So in the old times, these were really not that demonized the way that we look at them now. It wasn't black and white. There is a good and a bad side to every spirit you will ever work with in your career in magic or witchcraft. Okay, so getting started with them, I would go through and look at a whole list of spirits. My friend Arundel Overman has some of the most complete grimoires and reproductions of the old grimoires that are out. So those are some more books to look at. And you can go through his lists of spirits, and you can go through the lists of spirits in Jake's work. You can go through, there are so many of these old spirits, and find one that speaks out to you, one that jumps out at you. Maybe you start hearing their name over and over again. Maybe you start reading about them everywhere that you look. Maybe you just get an inkling that you really like what they're doing and go with that. So start with a sigil and go with that, and then with the we just had a customer come in. Danny's dealing with them. So sorry, where was I there? Start with their sigil. Focus on their sigil in meditation. I really like to bring energy through my columns. Look at our raising energy technique in our other videos, and then I visualize the sigil and I draw it in my mind's eye in light. Now this can be whatever light you're called to. There are a couple apps out now that tell you the colors that pertain to the demons. You can go with that, or you can just go with what you feel. White light, gold light, whatever you feel drawn to with them. And then really strongly visualize that seal glowing in that light. And then call out their name. Say their name over and over and over again. There are also what is known as the demonic ends, which S. Connolly put into her complete book of demonolatry. So you could use those as a mantra to these spirits, and then give them daily offerings in the morning and at night. Give them incense, give them water, give them coffee, give them whiskey, give them food, give them offerings that you feel drawn to give them. These are listed all over the internet, and there's a whole bunch of different information there. Really, I think that you should go with what you feel is right for you, and just start creating a relationship with them. Speak to them, talk to them as if they're your friend, and that will go a long way, creating a bond with the spirits that is based on mutual benefit. Is a lot better than going with the old Christian way of, rattling chains and screaming at them, "What is your name? Who are you? Are you the demon that I summoned?" That's, I don't know about you, but if a friend invited me to one of their parties and I walked into the room and they picked me up and threw me against the wall and said, "Are you Azariel? Are you Azariel?" And I'd be like, "Holy fuck, yeah, I'm Azariel. Jesus Christ, man. Why'd you call me here if you don't even know who I am?" Okay, so taking your time to get to know these spirits and building a relationship with them over time is going to cause you to get much more benefit than just, dial a deity, phone up a deity and say, "Hey, great demon of wealth, I want you to give me $10,000 this month." Well, that's probably not going to work very well. That's like walking up to a guy on the street and going, "Hey, motherfucker, give me $10,000. That's not going to happen. Now, if you have a friend that you've cultivated a relationship with for 5-10 years, and all of a sudden you lose your job and you need to borrow a couple $1,000s to pay your rent this month, and he knows you're good for paying him back, it's probably much more likely to happen, right? So treat them as if you would treat a friend, create relationships with them, create bonds with them, give them offerings, talk to them, call them to you, and ask them to present themselves to you. Ask them to give you omens so that you know that they're hearing you. And this is a good way to begin working with these spirits. So I hope that this kind of answers your question and helps you to ignite the light within. And thank you all for tuning in today. If you guys have any other questions you'd like to ask the Witches of the Shop, please drop them in the comments section, and we will do our best to answer as many as we can. I would love to hear about your experiences with goetic demons and chthonic spirits and underworld spirits in the comments. We always love hearing stories and about your relationships with them. And if you don't mind, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button so you get notifications, and share this with any of your friends that you think that it will help out. And then more people can see us and our channel will grow and we can give you more information. So thank you all and have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time.